Reformation, it is a great religious movement of the 16th century. It is a movement which protested against the Roman Catholicism and ended in the establishment of various Reformed or Protestant churches in Central and Northwestern Europe. The causes for Reformation. The major cause for the Reformation are the outdated practice in the churches. The questioning attitude which developed among the people after the Renaissance movement was one of the factor. Growing spirit of nationality was prevailing among the people because they wanted independence in their country, like German for Germany people, France for French people, and America for Americans. This spirit of nationalism were among the people. Nepotism and practice of granting indulgence was growing on, so they thought that there must be a reform in order to clear all the conflict which was going on in the church as well as among the people. That is the reason why Reformation came. And the other reason for Reformation is the construction of St. Peter's Basilica. So, why do we say that the church, St. Peter's Basilica, which is at Rome, is considered as a very important thing both in Renaissance and Reformation movement is that the money which was donated for the construction of the church were misused by pope, clergymen, and high class people in the society. They started taking money from the church for their own pleasure, and the practice of granting indulgence was taking place. It is like when you give money to the construction of the church, your sins will be reduced and the punishment years will be reduced. So people who had money, they started donating to the church, and the low class people who were not able to donate money, they were asked to pay huge taxes. So the construction of St. Peter's Basilica were mainly used for the money purpose. People started marketing in the name of Christianity. So in order to stop this, Reformation started. Reformation movement was started by St. Martin Luther of Germany. He was an ex-Augustinian monk. On 31st October 1517, he kneeled to the door of the Wittenberg Church, 95 debating points. He raised against the corrupt society of the church, the spiritual, the material, and the psychological truth behind the practice of granting indulgence. All he wanted is the cancellation of the papal bull of 1499. He wanted the practice of indulgence has to be stopped. That is the reason why he started the Reformation movement. On the same day when he nailed the 95 debating points, he wrote to the Archbishop of that place. After some days, he wrote to the Pope of Rome, but no one took any issues to grant the request which he had placed before. So he started his conflict against the Roman Church, where he was not able to give out his stand. He protested against the Roman Catholic churches when the Pope and when people from Rome, when they requested him to give out his stand, he was not able to give out. So he was put to death in 1521, and the monks and the nuns who followed him, who supported him, they came out from the Roman Catholic monasteries and they started living their personal life. They started having a common life. So Reformation mainly started in Germany, though it solved all the personal issues, but this personal issues did not bring a lot of changes in the church. The movement had many supporters in Germany and other European countries, but there was little response from England. So, the entry of England into the Reformation movement was actually considered as an accident, the result of the side issue. The side issue we talk about Henry VIII desire to marry Anne Boleyn. King Henry VIII's first wife was Catherine of Aragon. So Anne Boleyn is a young lady in the waiting room on the court. Henry VIII wanted to marry Anne Boleyn, so he wrote a letter to seek permission from Clement VII, but it was rejected. So Henry VIII formed a parliament called Reformation Parliament. So he separated the relationship between England out from Rome. So after forming the Reformation Parliament, he passed on some resolution like cutting the fees of clergymen. The control of the church, the control of England church was under the crown now. and the right to appoint bishop was also given to the crown. Bill was passed dissolving monasteries. So all these things were taking place, and the England church was separated from the Rome church. Then after that, it was Edward sixth rule. He was a younger son of Henry VIII. Though he became king at a very young age, he led the country with the guidance of Archbishop Thomas Carner. Under his time, the first prayer book in 1549 was issued. So, under his time only, the uh, faithful communion of bread and wine was taking place in the Church of England, and he ruled from 1547 to 1553. After that, it was Queen Mary's time. She was the eldest daughter of Henry VIII, and under her period, she ruled for almost a short period of 5 years, but she brought a lot of changes. She didn't follow the parliament which her father brought into force, the Protestant parliament. She followed the old form of worship. She did not follow the system of worship which her father followed, because Mary's mother, Catherine of Aragon, belongs to the Roman Catholic religion. So she brought back the old form of worship, all the English service and all the English prayer books were again translated to the Latin prayer books. The people who protested against this was put to death. She killed a lot of Protestant people during that time. Then it was Elizabeth I. Elizabeth I time, she brought a lot of good changes in the Church of England. It is said that Henry VIII, her father, started the Church of England, but it was Elizabeth who formed a good Church of England. So under her time, she issued the Common Prayer Book in church. Two Act of Parliament was formed. The first is the Act of Supremacy. Under the Act of Supremacy, the Church of England was separated from the Church of Rome, and Queen Elizabeth became the supreme governor of the country. She was not called as the supreme head of the Church of England. Is the Act of Uniformity. Under the Act of Uniformity, which was put upon the clergyman, it was like strictly following the Sunday services according to the prayer book, according to the common prayer book. Church attendance has to be done. The Holy Communion has to be done on holy days, and all the Sundays. All these things were under the Act of Uniformity. So we can say that in other European countries, there were a lot of religious civil war under the Reformation movement, but due to the good governance of Queen Elizabeth, there was no civil war taking place in England, and Queen Elizabeth formed Church of England. She brought a good settlement to all the other religions in England during her time.